Craig, what have you got there again?
I have got again a very expensive IKEA shoe horn.
Is that from your bedroom?
It can be used as a horse whip as well.
No.
Welcome to another episode of Fat Boys in Lycra, and finally racing has begun. You can see how the Fat Boys got on in their first race of the season. Also in this episode, Woolfy has a new pair of trainers and Craig has finally gone tubeless. See if that makes a difference. Let's get straight on with it.
Okay, so time is here. Never thought I was going to get a pair of these bad boys, but I have, just to make sure I get it correct, the Night Zoom X Vaporfly Next Percent. Very excited about these. As you know, I love my running. I've been very used to just doing the standard normal trainer, you know, my Mizuno sort of Wave Rider 23s, you know, run a couple of marathons, and I've never really been interested in the whole carbon, making things a little bit easier for yourself. I've just got on with a normal pair of running trainers, so I thought, do you know what, George and the whole travelling world rave about these carbon fibre Nike shoes. I think I'm going to go and get them. Very lucky, on the Nike website there was a 30% deal off, so I thought this is the time to get them. So here we are, let's have a look. So I've gone for, to be fair, probably not the colourway that I would have gone for, simply because, you know, any sort of running, even in the dry weather, they're going to get dirty, the laces are going to get dirty. However, with, you know, a good £70 off them, I thought, yeah, I'm going to go for them. First things first, how light they are, you know, compared to this, just the differences of the two. This is a lot lighter. I don't know too much about the carbon frame and how it works. However, all I do know is that George has a pair and he says absolutely no-brainer. You got to get them. I know the boys have the Adidas version, and again, they are also a big fan. The main difference is what I can see from ones that Broomy done a review on is the sole. As you can see, there's a slightly bit more of a grip on there than the Adidas ones. They're very see-through. I don't know if you can quite see that. So they're going to, you know, be very cool on the foot, which is going to be great for Dubai. I'm currently in the UK, in England at the moment. I'm a bit of a, I like things perfect, so I probably won't be running them out here because I don't want it to rain on them. But I'm really excited to get these a go with my Ironman coming up next year to get some long runs in there. So watch your space. Let's see how they get on.
Okay, so I'm here in Business Bay in Dubai. I'm going to get a test run in, so it's just gone 6 o'clock in the morning. Next weekend we have our duathlon, so I wanted to see what it's like to run in this sort of heat this time of year. However, the biggest thing today are these. I am practicing the first time in my neck Vaporflies. Very excited to give them a go, but definitely worth giving them a go before the race. Planning to do 15k. Depending on how the feet are feeling, I will be seeing how that goes. Let's go. Okay, so just finished my run. I completed the 15k, which I'm very happy with, considering the weather and the time, so that's good for next week. But onto these. Brilliant that I could run straight away 15k in them. That's the first ever time I've run in them. The good things about them, what I found, very light, very light, very, you know, you didn't feel like much was on your feet. Very cool, my feet weren't hot at all. If you know me, I'm not really a flashy guy, but wouldn't go for white usually, but with a new pair of socks and them being brilliant white, they look really, really good. I felt really good in them. I think that for me was the biggest thing of knowing that you're in the best trainer you could possibly get out there, apart from the Adidas that probably compete with it. Felt really, really good. The only downside that I feel, it does feel like your feet are going to rip in them. Probably that's something I need to get used to. Also in here you have some extra padding which makes the foot feel loose, however they're not, they're nice and secure. And then the last thing what Bromy said about the Adidas, when you walk in them you feel like, you know, you're walking on a cloud. So that's all going to get something I need to get used to. However, very, very happy with these.
So, can the average age grouper go tubeless? Well, simple answer is yes, he can. Took me a couple of attempts, to be honest. The first time I did try without the AirShot blast pump. I tried merely with my regular track pump and I failed miserably. So I made a little purchase for the AirShot compressor, which meant I was able to put 160 psi straight in order to set the tyre on the bead of the rim. And this worked extremely well for my first attempt with this wheel. Now when it came to doing the rear wheel, I did in fact have a couple of more issues, hence why this video is a lot longer than the first one. And to be fair, as I discovered, what I forgot to do was actually apply some lubricant around the side of the tyre to help it bead. And also then when I did come to applying it, I still couldn't get the tyre to set whatsoever. So eventually I actually used the tyre sealant itself as a lubricant around the edge, and to my amazement this actually worked. So one thing I have learned from this process is use the tyre sealant itself around the edge as a lubricant. Works so much better than merely the soap and water. And here is some footage just to finish of my first ride out there on tubeless. Yes, it was a lot more comfortable, bit strange getting used to the lower PSI, but overall at this moment in time I am truly a convert to tubeless.
Our first race of the season, the Sharjah Duathlon. In true Fat Boy style, we didn't choose the short distance. We went for the 10k run, the 40k bike, and then a 5k run to finish. Being the first race of the season, we knew it was going to be hot. 30 degrees, 95% humidity. So 3 fat boys were in the running, Woolfy, myself and Craig. Let's see how we got on. Not surprisingly, Woolfy was running at the front, but look who's behind. The 44-year-old thinks he can keep up with an under 30-year-old. And then the wily fox following on behind, pacing himself, as usual, Craig Broom. So the first 10k was a blistering pace. Woolfy came in at 44 minutes 27. Had a great transition as well. Closely followed by myself. Only a minute behind, but I had set my PB 10k, so not great, thinking I've got another 40k and a 5k run to do at the end. You can see where this is going. So Craig did a sensible 5-minute pace 10k. Woolfy was out onto the bike first, but little did he know some accident was about to happen. There was water on one of the roundabouts, very, very greasy. Unfortunately, Woolfy came off during the middle of the bike. Craig took full advantage of his fresh legs and overtook both myself and Woolfy, who was injured on his bike. He had a blistering pace on the new PX series. Craig did a sensible 5k run, just holding on Woolfy, who came up behind it but couldn't quite get there.
Here's the warrior. Come on, warrior. Great effort. Well done, mate. What a day. Here we are in Sharjah Duathlon in the sunny Emirates and very hot Emirates of Sharjah. Here we have Woolfy, member of the Fat Boys in Lycra. Woolfy, that looked tough out there today. How are you feeling?
Very tough, very tough. I mean, we started a little bit late. Obviously, the last run was very, very hot, so that was tough with the sun out. So talk you through my race. Started with my run with my new trainers on. Happy with them. Really enjoyed them. Felt smooth. Felt running like it was nice. Sit in front of Craig and Bryce. Open up a little bit of a gap. Happy with that. Got on the bike. I knew they were going to catch me on the bike, so I put the pedal down. And then on the first lap of the 3 laps, I come off. So leg, L, and I'm not going to lie, I did cry like a baby. I don't know what it was, frustration, disappointment, but I was just something in me. Pulled myself together, carried on. Problem was I couldn't get my aero, but just got through it. Funny though, obviously when I come off, first thing I looked at was my bike and my watch, not my cuts. But yeah, got through that, and then last 5k was just get going, chase down them two. I nipped off Pricey, and then Broome was just 10, 20 seconds, 30 seconds in front of me, but really glad to finish, but also I'm done.
Here's our second member of the Fat Boy and Lycra team. Just completed the Sharjah duathlon, what I would call an Olympic duathlon. Craig, how did it go today for you?
By second member, do you mean first finisher?
First finisher.
First finisher. I thought, however, I will take it as a bit of a hollow victory because I do know that Woolfy's had an accident on the bike. Admittedly, I did take the wrong turning at the first roundabout on the bike myself and came to a dead stop and unclipped and had to turn around. Cracking race, very, very fast. You know, not very technical at all. Bit of water out there, which was tricky today. First 10k, first kilometre run at 4:15 for me. That's way too quick. I knew that. Chasing the two other lads who are better runners than me. The old guy Andy was obviously chasing down the young boy Woolfy. I think he paid the price for that in the end. Bike went very, very well. First race actually on the Cervelo. First race for Tubeless. Big thumbs up to Tubeless so far, going really, really well. I must have averaged around about 36, 37, I would have thought, for the bike. And I held on for the 5k at the end. Just held off Woolfy just at the end. He was catching, gaining on me all the time. So to be fair to the youngster, he probably should have won that one. But I'll take it. Cracking event, could do with some more portaloos and maybe a bit more water. But apart from that, fully recommend it for the start of the season to everybody. The first 10k I thought
Andy, what a fabulous effort today. It's been a tough conditions out here in Sharjah, but a very brilliant performance from you. How did you find the race?
That was absolutely brutal for a first race of the season. Overall, really pleased. Tactics, I think, wrong. Going out for your personal best 10k to start off with, trying to keep the young boy in sight was probably a little bit of a mistake. Bike really quick, mistake putting the new bottle on there, didn't get enough water on, cramped up, never ever cramped up on the second lap. Broomey comes past, kind of keep him in sight, but came off transition. Transition was slow, and then didn't see Broomey. George told me coming out of transition when I was in sight, Broomey was looking tired, so I went for it. 1.5k, boom, just went, had to walk. Woolfy comes past, so it was a walk run all the way. Really pleased though.
Good.
Really pleased.
Andrew, it was a fabulous effort out there, tough conditions. Would you recommend this race to others?
Absolute. Starters, beginners going into triathlon, this is the race for you because it is brutal. Triathlon, easier, even if you can't swim. Go for it, definitely my advice.
What was quite nice though, Dan, is that we both started at the same time. Done all right. I could fall off a bike, have a lay down, and I still beat him.
14 years old, 13 years younger.
No.
Well done, boys. Fabulous effort.
Okay, that's it for this episode. As always, you can follow us on our socials and please don't forget to subscribe. We've got so much racing coming up. It's going to be such a great season. Thanks for watching.